Hello, it's Corey from MECFS Navigator, and I just wanted to do a personal check-in because I am doing really pretty good and pretty well. Uh, I just had a whole slew of stuff, COVID, which I took Paxlovid, which is supposed to reduce the chance of long COVID in healthy people from 20 to 30%. So I assume that might translate to us being less likely to get another degree of being worse. And my doctor has prescribed it for me. I have unfortunately gotten COVID 4 times. The first 3 years I didn't get it at all. And then I let my guard down and we stopped locking down. And I seem to be very susceptible. I'm going to go back to masking in public whenever I'm in public and as where possible eating outside, but this was just from taking off masks to eat inside. Anyway, I got through the COVID okay, and then right as soon as I was done with COVID, I did not have a cushion time in between. I traveled to the East Coast to see my mom, and that was, a year ago, I would have canceled the trip, and in fact, I did last year. But I've been doing well enough that I thought I might get away with it. And I took my backup folding wheelchair because I wasn't expecting to use the wheelchair much. I was just going to sit in the same room in my mom's house, or lie in my mom's house. And that actually worked. I was not stressed about the wheelchair breaking the whole time because that chair is much more replaceable and much harder to break than my main chair. So that was less stress in the trip. The trip went fine. I recovered from the trip within a day. So again, amazing, doing so much better. Then, had the trip to my mom's, came home, and then actually had a few days of being in bed and resting fully. And then I went to Disneyland, which I have done before, and I have done when I'm much worse in my reclining chair. My Permobile goes from here to here, and I have in the past used it here at Disneyland in the zero gravity position with earplugs in, with my big hat on, with my sunglasses, and taking constant rests and resting in the shade and being super careful. Well, this time I got cocky, and since I've been doing so much better around town, I've been using my wheelchair more like this, like kind of like that. And I went in doing that at Disneyland, and I paid for it because Disneyland is such a sensory environment, and there's sun, and even though I know the layout really well, which really helps, and the DOS accommodations really help, and I was given all the time I wanted to rest, I wasn't resting as much as I should have, and I was sitting in this position. And I thought I nearly crashed, but I got 12 hours of sleep. I went to bed at 8 o'clock, and I got 12 hours of sleep, and then in the morning I was like, okay, I'm going to go back out again and get breakfast, but if after breakfast I don't feel better, I'm going to go back. And I actually managed to bounce back after breakfast, and I was very tentative, ready to go back to the hotel room at any time, but this time I was lying down fully like this. I kept my earplugs in, I did all my mitigations, and all of it went well. The other thing that happened is that there was the ride actually got broke down while I was on it, and I had to evacuate on foot the first day. And the firemen came. They were very helpful. They would have carried me. I didn't want to be carried, but I just used people for support, and I got like 10 feet, sit down, rest, 10 feet, sit down, rest. But I could have rested longer, and I was pushing it again, and they were giving me all the time in the world. It was my adrenaline and my anxiousness about wasting their time that made me go faster than I should have gone, and I shouldn't have done that. So, there's a sound. So despite all that, I am amazingly doing great. Amazingly great. I just had I got back from Disneyland. It's Friday. I got back on Sunday night. It's a 5 hour or more like 6 hour drive. And I spent, a couple days in bed recovering and everything. But we also have something else that's a big stressful thing in terms of moving and selling house and stuff like that has been, another source of stress adding. And I got a tooth pulled yesterday, and I'm doing this well, looking this normal. I can't believe how well I'm doing. I remember the first time I went to Disneyland when I was still pretty sick, and maybe I shouldn't have gone, but just the effort of moving the controller, I was just like lying like this, and just like using this finger to like barely move the controller, and that was an extreme amount of effort. And I was resting like after everything for like an hour, and in the dark, with my sunglasses on and everything. And I was just going, besides being in the wheelchair and having to mind my energy, it's night and day. You can see for yourself how well I look. You never saw me when I was at my worst, but at my worst, I couldn't have sat up for this long that I'm talking to you. Like I could, but I would start to be hunching. 15 minutes was kind of my limit sitting up, and I needed to take breaks to chew my food, and needed to mostly be in the dark and everything. So just want to give you a little bit of hope for how far you can come, and the bouncing back can get faster. On another note, I should be following more of my own advice. I've been watching some people who have been following my advice get from severe to working again. And I'm doing really great, but I could be doing better if I were pacing more than I am. I've been riding that edge a lot because I'm so excited that I can do so much more that I'm like pushing up against the edge. And if I were hanging out more in the middle, I might be improving even faster. So that's my goal for myself, like what I did with the firemen. I shouldn't have let the adrenaline and, self-consciousness get the better of me. I should have gone slower. Like I should have put my chair more in this position when I was there. Like I need to not, still, it's hard for me, even though I've gotten really good at it, I still need to be better about taking my own space for accommodating myself, like taking my time, not being, ashamed about being fully reclined in my wheelchair. Whatever I need to do to get better is what I need to do. So I wish you all luck in getting better, and improving whatever small amount of improvement you can do. Like it's just a bit at a time, and I know it goes backwards and how frustrating that is, but it can get better.